Thank you. Let's take what Christina was saying and put it to the CEO of somebody who's actually in the hot seat, the CEO of Hard Rock Hotels and Casinos. They've started welcoming customers back, but they face exactly that issue, particularly in hotels, as to what do you do? And especially in a place like Florida. Jim Allen is the chairman of Hard Rock International. Jim's with me now. What do you do where you have a resurgence, as we are seeing? You're seeing, of course, what Disney's done, opened Hong Kong, now closing it again. How are you balancing that really very, very difficult decision?
Well, first of all, Richard, thanks for having me. And you're 100% right. You know, every day it's a new set of circumstances. But what we did really about 3 months or so ago was we said we're going to evaluate this from a technology standpoint. So we invested in the equipment for body imaging, contact tracing, through facial recognition. And frankly, we don't allow anyone to even come in the facilities if they do not go through this particular test. And if someone registers a body temperature of over 100.4, we then allow them the opportunity to have a second test, more in a little bit more of a private area. This technology we purchased, we can literally be looking at anywhere from 15 to 24 people at a time. So it's a continuous movement of our patrons. And frankly, it's been working very, very well. In regards to the question about how will Disney enforce, I can tell you how we're doing it. If someone refuses to wear their mask, we politely ask them to please place it on. If they refuse, then we politely ask them to leave the facility. There is a zero tolerance in this particular area.
Jim, you can control a huge amount in your own area, but when the city or the locale where you're based is facing a resurgence, such as Florida, such as Hong Kong, northern Spain has some. What do you do then? Because, you know, whether it's somebody who's asymptomatic, just the sheer numbers, how do you manage the reality that you may have to close again? And are you prepared to take that decision?
Well, it's, once again, excellent question. I would say probably the middle of last week was the first time since we started reopening our properties at the end of May, where that conversation is now coming up on a daily basis. In fact, this morning, I had some conference calls with our Senior Vice President of Marketing, and we were specifically talking about that. Are we getting, or are we approaching this particular point? Unfortunately, as we all know, that some of the numbers can be, evaluated depending upon what one's personal or political point of view is. And we're truly trying to be, open-minded to both sides of, obviously, the economic impact of keeping all of our employees working and the significance of that, whether it be health insurance and obviously, in many cases, food on the table. But certainly, when you reference the state of Florida, the other day, over 13,000 cases in one day. And then if we look at South Florida, specifically in Miami-Dade, and even to a lesser extent, Broward County, I think it would be unfair to not suggest that, yes, it is starting to become alarming. And something like reviewing a potential, taking a major step back, or even an additional closure is something that we're going to be talking about on a daily basis.
So it comes down to that point. Even though it will be very difficult for you and your partners and your colleagues, you are prepared to close down again?
We certainly are evaluating it. I think when we look at Florida, basically half the cases now are people in that 21 to 27, 28-year-old age category. And I saw it firsthand. I was a little surprised at some of the restaurants, say in the Fort Lauderdale area, that opened. And frankly, you would have thought it was, business as normal, DJs, no one wearing masks. So it did not surprise me. We took the direct opposite approach. We were very, and still are, very, very diligent on the issue of you're going to wear a mask. We don't have any of our nightclubs. There's no live music, DJs. None of those things are happening. Certainly the hotel rooms are available. Certainly some of our restaurants are available. And then we look at a market like, say Atlantic City in New Jersey, where the state has mandated that there is no indoor dining, period. So while we do have
Right.
outdoor dining, we look at each market in its own geographic context, if you will, to make sure that we're doing the right thing from a safety standpoint, but also trying to balance, a business that's in 76 countries around the world. The situation in Florida is obviously much different than, say, the situation in Barcelona.
Jim, let's keep talking over the summer, if we may, sir, so that we can find out exactly how it is. It's going to be a difficult summer for everybody, and we want to keep abreast of how your company is performing. Jim joining me from Hard Rock International. Thank you.